comes the experiences of a she-creature. Brought to screen life by Chester Morris, Marla English, Kathy Downs, Lance Fuller, Tom Conway, Frida Inescort, and Ron Randall. It's an adventure into the occult, such as few people have known, and only those who see it can believe.
You're not going for that supernatural hokum of his.
I don't really know what I'm going for. I know he's a killer.
Now you are traveling back through time and space. Farther, farther back.
Under his spell, she was both herself and another being. The she-creature seeking life sustenance from the stolen heartbeats of others. She was a woman born to be loved, and two men wanted her. One, a man whose powerful mad mind controlled her every reflex except her love.
No.
The other, willing to fight any odds for her love.
You've been living in shadows. I want to bring you back to life.
Society dances to hide the hysterical terror caused by their sudden intimacy with death. Forever closer comes the she-creature. You'll never forget.
Today to see our Tom and Jerry start their flight. It's colossal, dynamic, tremendous, gigantic, and awe-inspiring sight. We're the 2468 scientists who had the idea for this flight. It's colossal, dynamic, tremendous, gigantic, and awe-inspiring sight. We're the men who made it possible to build a rocket that would fill the bill. Guard enough, we're the men who will guard the bus till it's ready to go. The most important men, for we supply the pork and beans. But we're the men supreme, for they know that the dime machine wouldn't go if they had no gasoline. We're the photographers always on the job. We can be found wherever there's a mob.
I Christine B.
Colossal, dynamic, tremendous, gigantic, and awe-inspiring sight. We're the two poor chumps that they picked out to make this very dangerous flight. It's colossal, dynamic, tremendous, gigantic, and awe-inspiring sight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we one and all wish Tom and Jerry good luck and a safe return from their trip because this ship is going far, far away. We'll now have Tom and Jerry say a parting word to you. Oh, for heaven's sake. Hooray for Tom and Jerry. You, a cheer for Tom and Jerry. They never fail to put it over top. Hooray, hooray!
Hello, police headquarters? This is Carter, Johnny Carter.
Oh, sure, they're from another planet.
What a dilemma for young lovers Steve Terrell and Gloria Castillo.
He thought I was kidding him.
Nobody will believe the invasion of the Saucer Men. All this makes it seem natural for a beer-drinking bull to appoint himself chaperone of Lover's Lane.
Hey, for Pete's sake!
And a farmer with the longest shotgun you've ever seen plays the villain.
What's so funny?
Well, I expected to be frightened on my wedding night, but nothing like this.
It's our busy night, too. We've been flooded with calls from people who say they've seen flying saucers and little green monsters. Wonder how that rumor ever got started.
It's too fantastic to believe.
Just think of it. Only this special unit and the President of the United States will know what happened here tonight.
You mean you think we know what's happened?
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Friday Night Scream Stream. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink.
Good evening, everybody. How we doing?
How we doing out there? How we doing tonight, Evan? How you doing?
Good. We're chilling. It's Friday. It's getting hot, man.
It is.
It's getting summer out.
I think it just turned. I don't know how you say it. Turned
Happy
summer last
solstice,
week.
everybody.
I don't know quite when the solstice was, but it was recently, and I already feel my sleep schedule going back the other way. I'm starting to sleep later.
Tide's going back.
Yeah. I was getting up before 7, and now it's going back to after 7 because now the days are getting shorter again. Hey, man, you ever see it's getting hotter, sure, but
I think Monday is the middle of the year.
Oh, it's Monday, the middle of the year?
I think so, yeah. It's like the exact, it's right around then.
Okay. Well, we're going to resist it as far as we've got the summer. We're keeping it alive here on the stream. Of course, with our Summer of Schlock, which we bring you returns. Sorry. Can't leave out that returns. We bring you every Friday. So yes, we're excited to be here. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Spark in the chat. Hope you're doing well this evening. You had a good Friday. Again, it's been a long week, maybe for some of you. Some of you, maybe it flew by. Either way, we're gonna just kick back, relax, enjoy some good old public domain horror. And of course, like I just said, we're keeping it schlocky. Keeping it schlocky for all of season 10. And tonight, we're filling the bill in spades. Like it's
in spades or in space?
Well, we'll see how much space we actually get. But there is the promise of creatures from space. Because tonight, we are watching The Eye Creatures from 1967, aka Attack of the Eye Creatures, aka Attack of the Eye Creatures.
aka.
Yeah, it goes by many names. This is a schlockster piece from the self-proclaimed schlockmeister, Larry Buchanan, who we were introduced to last summer of Schlock when we watched Creature of Destruction. This is one in that series of 8 films that he did for American International Pictures, a studio we've talked about, and we'll be talking about them more tonight. And of course, the making of the film and Larry Buchanan, because he's an interesting character. And yeah, we've got creatures from space. But I'll go ahead and tell you, don't get your hopes up. And I told Evan, I think I said this at the mini-sode on Wednesday.
Yeah, if you're around on Wednesday, you already unfortunately found this out.
You know that if you've seen the poster for this movie and it's this giant eye with tentacles, that is unfortunately the poster from a different film. Believe the Trollenberg Terror or something like. It's something that you wouldn't expect it. It's not the Eye Creatures. And so then
it's a real shame.
It is a shame because the creature that we end up with here is definitely, I don't even, you'll see for yourself. It's quite interesting. But if you remember Creature of Destruction, you'll know that Larry Buchanan was a filmmaker who liked to take it easy. It was just trying to make a buck and didn't take it too seriously. And as a result, it's you. I mean, again, we last time when we watched Creature of Destruction, we talked about like a bad film and the idea of like film being like knowingly bad and not really, it's like this is just you can't do anything about it. All you critics out there, you want to say that this is shoddy movie make. Well, guess what? It exists. What are you gonna do about it? So that's what we're going to get into tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun and should be out of this world, I'm hoping. And if the movie doesn't get us there, then Evan certainly will, because as always, Evan brings us a delicious cocktail to pair with the evening's film and a little segment which this season he calls.
This season we're calling it Schlocktail Hour, because that's exactly what it is. If you've been watching along the summer, you'll know that this is the time of year when we just we get a little experimental. We try some stuff we haven't tried before. And if you were watching last week, you might even have an idea of what we're going to be doing, because that was when I had an idea, and I couldn't use it because I had the idea while I was already making that drink. But it occurred to me that like when you eat a bowl of cereal and you're done with the cereal and the milk is kind of flavored, the cereal milk. I thought, nobody's really making cocktails with that.
No.
So that was the seed from which this week's recipe bloomed.
Very creative seed. It's a very, but it's very specific, right?
Well, it was kind of serendipitous because I was thinking okay, I want to do this in some way, but how can I spin this? And I thought, okay, we're watching an alien movie. We can, we need something spacey, something cosmic.
Perhaps.
And then I thought, you know what I love? Those little Debbie cosmic brownies. Little candies on top of them, little fudgy things. They're delicious.
Oh yeah, who doesn't love a cosmic brownie?
So I thought, why not try to make a cosmic brownie in a glass, which is we're calling this the cosmic brownie tonight. It is made with rum, creme de cacao, chocolate fudge, and I've got some chocolate half and half that I made by soaking Cocoa Puffs in it and then straining them out.
Nice.
So we've got this is a triple chocolate threat.
Ooh, triple threat.
Yeah, triple threat. And we've also got it wouldn't be a cosmic brownie without those little pieces of candy on top.
Of course.
So I found some little star-shaped sprinkles.
Ah, okay, very nice. Yeah,
that's gonna be our candy garnish for this drink.
Terrific. I'm very excited for this. Again,
I've been looking forward to this all week.
Really done a chocolate.
Yeah, just a straight
forward cocktail.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is triple chocolate, so we're getting it.
We're making up for lost time.
All three barrels.
What we're doing. Yeah. Sign me up. I'm, again, as I said on Wednesday, love chocolate. It's, probably my favorite sweet. Give me some, just give me a good chocolate cake, a good chocolate.
Yeah.
Anything, any kind of rich dessert. So this cocktail seems like it's very rich. So
it ought to be. So I feel like these sprinkles are gonna immediately dissolve. So I'm just gonna put them on and then we're gonna go.
All right. You better have some speed, Evan. You better act fast.
All right.
Time is
these fast hands. Here you go.
Stars are shooting, Evan.
All right. You probably can't even see that on the camera, but they're in there.
Try not to tip it.
Yeah.
Oh, if I pull it back a little bit.
But yep, that's our cosmic brownie. We're going to go ahead and give this a try.
All right.
So, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Yeah.
It was funny because the alcohol hits you first.
It does, yeah.
But then it's like the cereal milk does what cereal milk does, which is washes it down.
Yep.
And you're like, yeah, that's good. That's what so it's so funny, right? Cereal milk is just a very specific type of a thing. And obviously the half and half gives it even a more full kind of finish, which is nice.
Yeah, I thought, basically this is just like a really complicated chocolate milk. But I thought it might be, a little more interesting to do this than just, throw some chocolate milk in a glass.
Yeah, no, it's way more interesting. It's definitely, it's funny because the alcohol really, it's strong. Like, it's very upfront, but everything else, the way it comes in after, it does feel like you've eaten some kind of like chocolate treat. And so it's this interesting combination. It's not just chocolate milk. There's so much more going on. It's
so
it's
good.
In a word, Evan.
It's really good.
It's, if I may say, it is, in a word, cosmic.
Thank you.
So you've outdone yourself, as always. Love the Cosmic Brownie cocktail.
So anybody at home, if you'd like to break off a piece of this delicious brownie, you can make your own. We'll have the recipe. Do we
it is up.
Okay,
Yes.
so don't miss this one.
Yes, no. It is very good. It is very what is it? Who makes Cosmic Brownies? Little Debbie?
I think it's Little Debbie.
Little Debbie, you need to take note, okay?
My favorite rapper, Little Debbie.
You need to start kind of skewing more toward like, a younger crowd, because obviously the old people love their snack. And I'm like an old person. I love my snack cakes. But you gotta start gearing toward like the like, 20 to 30-year-olds. You start doing like alcoholic beverages and snack cake infused with alcohol type.
Lil Debbie's gonna get in on like a craft microbrew.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They should approach
Honestly,
you
I would buy
to,
that.
to develop the Lil Debbie Cosmic Brownie cocktail, whatever. I mean, this is that's what I'm saying. Lil Debbie, take note. It's delicious.
Yeah. Lil Debbie, you can @me on Twitter. Let's collab.
Yes. That's, I mean,
bring me in.
Look at this man. He is just serving you up you think this is good? He could get a cocktail for, you don't even want to know what he would do with that Nutty Buddy cocktail, okay? That was, blowing my fudge round cocktail, dude. Oh my.
What are we watching next week? Can I relate it to peanut butter?
Can we just have a season where it's all chocolate dessert cocktails? That's it.
This is my Little Debbie phase.
Yeah, your Little Debbie. Yeah, it's just all. Yeah, I love the week that you got to do the zebra cakes like cocktail. How are you gonna like make a striped cocktail and then you got to do some kind of strawberry shortcake.
Yeah.
In there. Dude, dessert cocktails.
The Star Crunch. It's a glass full of rice.
Yeah, man, we're gonna have to go out and raid a snack cake section in our local store because now I'm just craving snack cakes. Thank God I've got some Nutty Buddies down in the fridge. I don't know what I'd do after this. Oh, but this is great. I've got this cocktail, and I don't know.
Tide you over.
We'll see. Maybe it's a 2-drink minimum night. We'll see. It's this one I think is gonna go down easy, so we'll see where we're at. But perfect cocktail to pair with the film tonight, which again is entitled The Eye Creatures. And
so do they have eyes even, at least?
It doesn't even look like they have eyes, unless maybe
no
their
eyes creatures
body. So we'll see. It's very interesting, and we'll talk about maybe where the creature design was sourced from, and we'll talk about just kind of some behind the scenes stuff with this movie. Again, Larry Buchanan. We got all into his life story when we watched Creature of Destruction, and we talked about the series of 8 movies that he did, which all these movies there were remakes of older American International Pictures films that they had made back in the late 50s. 10 years after they made these movies, they approached Larry Buchanan to remake them for television in color. And
he said, I'll do it, but I'm not going to try very hard.
Exactly. And yeah, like we've got some great quotes later that speak to that. And they confirm that. It really does. But no, it's funny because this is really like, I mean, he made money for the studio. So the studio kind of gave him this. I mean, 8 movies is kind of a lucrative like assignment. And he was independently producing them.
So you got tenure.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he really kind of lucked out. And I mean, he was making these movies in a matter of weeks. I mean, we'll talk about it, but tonight's movie is the first in the series. And it's based on an earlier American International Pictures film entitled Invasion of the Saucermen, which we saw the trailer for coming in from our pre-roll. And it's a horror comedy, apparently. Apparently the humor doesn't quite land. But so if it seems like it's like, is this supposed to be funny? Well, it apparently it is supposed to be funny in parts. We'll see if it succeeds or not.
Okay,
but
we'll see who gets the last laugh.
We'll see. Yeah. And hopefully it's us. Who knows? But the as you saw in that Saucerman trailer, those creatures are they were ridiculous looking and cool.
Really ugly.
Really ugly, and the big heads. And it was great. It's really great creature design. Classic, like, 50s sci-fi alien, right? So, I don't know. I wasn't that important here, it seems like.
Deprioritized.
Yeah, they right, exactly.
Okay, well, can't wait.
Well,
we're selling it really hard.
Well, and then again, what was so fun about Creature of Destruction was how inept isn't the right word, but it was just cheap, and things were so abrupt. And abrupt is like the word that immediately comes to mind, and I'm not quite sure why. Just like I'll never forget. There's this bit in the movie that we died at where it was like this guy's talking, and then it cuts to like a close up of him, like from another angle, not talking. They only are on that for like 2 seconds, and then it cuts back to him like talking again. It was just to bridge some kind of mistake. And then remember that
I remember,
happened a few times because it was just obvious that there was some kind of mistake in these long takes.
These little cover up.
Yeah, so he covers it up with like something that doesn't really fit. And you're just like,
call that the filmmaker special.
Yeah, and it's funny because we, this season we've already kind of talked about lazy filmmaking a little bit, right? What was it that was it Yucca Flats, or was it something?
It very well could have been.
There was something where this is just so lazy, and it was kind of hard to believe. So it'll be interesting to see if they take a similar tact here, or if this was the same year as Creature of Destruction, but this was the first film in the series. This came before any of them. So
well, we'll see. Maybe he's putting his best foot forward.
You could only hope so. I mean, he had successes before this. It wasn't like they just contracted this guy to make 8 movies that hadn't been proven. He made money. You
have to be like good enough if you get signed for 8 movies.
I mean, he was a talented enough indie filmmaker that the studio was like, oh, we can hire this guy and he'll make this stuff fast and cheap, and he did exactly that. And again, we'll get into all of it tonight. And Larry Buchanan, remember, he's a Texas-based filmmaker. So we're also talking about regional films tonight.
Going back down to Texas.
And we'll be talking about people that we've talked about before and seen before on this show. It's a small world. So it's the beauty, the education of this show is seeing how it all connects.
It's like a circle.
Education. Anything else before we get into tonight's movie, Evan?
So maybe the title's just a typo. Maybe it's not the eye creatures, but it's the eye creatures, as in the sound you make when you see them.
Oh, what? So you think it's an eye, or you think it's more of an ah?
Yeah.
Well, but it's, you think there's a subsection of people out there that probably,
Okay. Yeah, let's put can we get a poll going? Are you everyone at home, when you get scared, are you more likely to go ah or I?
Very Python-esque here.
That's okay.
I love it. Yeah, no, I love it. Well, on that note, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting beginning of The Eye Creatures right Now. Doo-doo-doo.
Just a man handcuffed to his briefcase. Nothing suspicious about that.
Nothing to see here. Why do you need his ID? You see the handcuffs. This man's obviously important. He's in black.
Come in.
General?
May I see your credentials?
Certainly.
Do you think this is just before they invented the lanyard?
Yeah.
You ought to have the key.
Yes, it arrived by special messenger late this afternoon.
You do have the key, don't you? Because I gotta get this thing off my wrist. Oh, the film. UFO. We're getting some government UFO intrigue going on.
Here's your receipt.
I don't need to remind you of the necessity for absolute security on this, General.
No. I realize that civilization itself may depend on it.
Good luck.
Sergeant, send that Lieutenant Robertson from Security Sector 3 in here.
Nice. And then, so there's other titles that have Attack of the above that. So it says Attack of the. Famously, of course, on Mystery Science Theater, that was a copy they watched.
Attack of the
Attack of the eye creature.
Just checking to see if you're paying attention.
And Tony Houston wrote Creature of Destruction, the other one of Buchanan's films that we watched previously.
Can you imagine going through all the trouble of making a movie and then somebody puts Attack of the Eye Creatures on the title?
Yeah, it just immediately takes all the wind out of your sails, doesn't it? Like, what? So, film editor SF Brown Rig, we familiar with the movie he directed, Don't Look in the Basement.
Sir, Lieutenant Robertson reporting his order.
Spoiler alert.
Lieutenant, relax. As you know, Robertson, your Sector 3 has not been cleared for receipt of materials on project visitors. So I'll have to give you a verbal briefing for relay to Colonel Harrison. I'll ask that you not take notes, but that you absorb everything you see and hear.
Yeah, it's going to be
Due to
hard.
certain events which I'm not at liberty to disclose, we feel that Sector 3 will be the probable place for the next contact. Now pay close attention to the information recorded on this film. It was prepared by L section of our UFO division.
This latest military film concerning project visitors was obtained from the remote-controlled high
He's
altitude
probably from
satellite
some
space
Russian
eyes,
sci-fi
as well as
film.
from ground tracking stations. The latest ship sighted was of a completely unfamiliar design and came under hyper-radar and infrared surveillance at 2300 hours yesterday.
Yes.
The alien ship veered for a close pass at the United States Remote Meteorological Laboratory in orbit 15CX.
Man,
No
what?
attempt at communication
What
was
are
made.
they working with
The
that
orbiting object then
high-powered
resumed its Earth
telescope?
intercept
This
course
is
at a
footage
rocky
is
point
crystal
along
clear.
the Sierra Madre in the western portion of the United States.
The Earth isn't
The
supposed
ship
to be
then set a
rotating.
low-altitude course to the east
This is
at
the
an
day the
extremely
Earth
low
stood
rate of
still.
speed. The official evaluation of Headquarters Command is that the space vehicle is probably manned, will effect a surface landing, and must be presumed to be unfriendly. It is imperative that absolutely no public information be released at this time to prevent a probable worldwide panic. Infrared scanners lost contact with the vehicle over the central United States in the general area of Security Sector 6.
Probable panic.
Any questions? All right, Lieutenant, your transportation's waiting. You should be back in your sector within an hour. Oh, Lieutenant, you tell Colonel Harrison that I want those infrared scanners manned every minute, 24 hours a day, and that's an order.
Yes, sir.
Take off.
Take off.
Got anything on the infrared scope?
Yep. Moving
What about-
body.
What about on the periscope?
Get it on the scanner.
What? What's this guy mugging for? What? Man, what is this Big Brother? What is all this like crystal clear security footage?
Ain't science wonderful?
I only found out about it after I
Oh,
got
science. Sure, use science as a scapegoat for
Yes, sir.
spying on the people.
Harold?
Yeah?
Harold, somehow I had the feeling that
Say
we're
it.
being watched.
We are, with all the kids in the other cars. Later on, we may watch them for a while. Right
Whoa!
Damn.
Harold, I just know they're watching us.
Good. Now that's over. Let's go back.
Wait. The feeling I have is it's like someone out there is watching us.
It's just your imagination, pussycat. There's no one kicking.
Oh, I truly admire science.
Science.
Ah, science.
All right, Sergeant, what's up? Nothing, sir. Just testing the infrared equipment.
That means you're playing Peeping Tom again, right?
Right, sir.
Culver, how many times have you been busted for pulling shenanigans just like that?
You mean this year, sir?
All together.
This is definitely like Ed Wood
3
level
times, sir. We're here for
writing right now.
a reason important to the national security, and don't ever forget it.
No, sir.
No, sir.
We're
He's only
here
been
to
caught
watch the
3
skies
times.
and not the skyline, right?
Right, sir.
You're ever so right, sir.
Bad things are going on up
Just
there,
waiting
right?
for one of these guys to poke the other one in the eye.
Right. What kind of thing,
Bonk
sir?
the other one in the
Never
head.
you mind. You're here to watch the
Yep,
sky.
there we go.
and not
That's
the
how it
skyline,
starts.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, boy, are you ever right, sir?
Right, sir.
Now that that's established, let's take a look and see how the infra scanner's working.
Infra scanner.
Ooh, Harold.
How about that, pussycat?
Whoa.
Yeah. How about that? Sir.
I think I may make Harold my hero. Well, back to business, man.
I have just got to look that
What
girl
is
up when I get into town.
happening?
How will you find her?
I'd recognize her eyes. Any place.
I'll clue you, Corporal. The place most of these kids end up is...
The pokey.
Of course not. They're good kids. They end up at the terrace at the lake. Not
Why do you
that I
know
go
so
to
much
places
about
like
these
that
kids'
myself.
routines,
Oh,
bro?
Yeah, how many times has he been busted?
But I've heard of...
Whatever the lieutenant says, sir.
I'm with him, sir.
Oh, here we go. If you didn't get enough rock music last week with Ega, we're not out of the woods yet. Oh, look, the dude is there. That soldier's just spying on him.
Now, will there be anything else?
Right now, I can't afford what I'm thinking.
I'm sure of that. And I got news for you.
That's a yikes.
Say, there is one thing. I was wondering if you could tell me how to... Well, I can't read my own writing here. Let's see. Could you tell me how to get to first base with you tonight?
Nice. Yeah, smooth guy.
Well, at least I tried.
Trying's all we ever do, ever since we hit this town. We should have never come here in the first place.
Guess the guy's got to be a native in this burg before Dan will give him a break.
Don't give me that. Let's go home. I'm bushed.
Look, this is country, man. Things move slow here. I tell you, I got a tip that this town's a cinch for a quick buck. Look, so all we have to do is get some kind of pitch going at the fairground. Now, though, we have to worry about finding the right thing.
Skip it. I'm going to bed.
Let's just sell something at the fairground.
How much money are you going to make at the fairground?
I'll take a drive and see what I can pick up.
Fat chance. Remember, the car's half mine, so drive carefully.
Your half's the front seat. I won't be using your half much tonight.
Oh, big lover. All mouth, no action.
Want to lift back to the boarding house?
This movie is like, it's kind of surprising how
I wouldn't want to hold back the wheels of progress.
straightforward. I mean, it's 67. We're talking like it's 67. That's stock footage from a different sci-fi film from the 50s.
I was gonna say it didn't look half bad.
Yeah, no, it's actually not. Invaders from Mars.
You see that?
How about that?
No, what?
Oh, Harold. When you kiss me,
Oh my God.
I just see explosions.
You know what? When he kisses her, I see explosions too.
Come on. Stop talking.
Wow.
Let's walk.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Voyeur.
White Rock.
The Coke bar.
You're not wrong.
Wait a minute. You're sure it was out by the old baby place?
Sure, dead sure.
Well, it was probably a plane going down. Anything could happen with these crazy electrical storms we've been having.
That's it. Low lightning, what else? Or do you still believe the old Bailey house is haunted?
Maybe the ghosts have come back. That old place was built before the Civil War.
Ghosts?
Could be.
Well, how's your recruiting coming along, Lieutenant?
Not bad.
Hey, why don't you Shanghai a couple of them?
Are you kidding?
Wonder what they're jabbering about.
Nosy.
I don't see any girls around, so what's keeping you Romeo so busy?
Jim just saw a spaceship.
Only one. With all the beer he drank, you'd think he'd see at least 6 and in different
Got 'em.
colors.
This one was green.
Oh, I always preferred the yellow ones myself. Hey, speaking of the yellow ones, why don't y'all go over and talk to that Air Force recruiting officer?
So that's what he is. I've seen him hanging around town.
Yeah, that's what he says he is. The boys were just kidding about seeing a spaceship, Lieutenant.
Everyone knows there's no such thing. How many times do we have to deny it before people will believe us?
Well, excuse me, flyboy.
Got him.
Better watch out. The way things are going, he may be giving some of you orders next month.
Man, I'm booked. They're dragging me in feet first.
Thought you had a date with Susan tonight.
I do. I'm picking her up at 9:30. She's fussing with a new dress.
Man, don't put this on. We know you're waiting for an old man to get out of the house. What kind of dress takes that long to get into? You gotta admit, Susan's got a lot of the right things and put in the right places.
Yeah. And they're all mine. I'll see you guys later.
Right. Jesus, man. I'm gonna give that the 60s, dude. Of course, because of course. All right, I don't know. This is some copy with somebody added
Another carload of
something.
them blasted smooches on my property. I'll get the law after them.
These blasted smoochers.
Fragging smoochers.
I hate love.
Oh, that classic Larry Buchanan Day for Night.
I'll fix him.
One of these days.
One of these days, I'll finally load bullets into this gun.
The hilltop's crowded tonight as usual.
Well, why not? We're only young ones. Besides, I'm going to show you the moon.
The moon I can see anytime.
The way this movie's going, I wouldn't be shocked if that's where it went. Oh, that's certainly the moon and not the sun.
Yeah, moon's really bright tonight.
Who cares, Larry Buchanan? That's Larry Buchanan in a nutshell. He's the kind of filmmaker that'll sell you the sun and tell you it's the moon. And you'll buy it.
I'm eloping with you tonight. That's proof enough, isn't it?
It sure is, seeing how your father hates me.
No, it isn't that bad. Hey, coming up here was a great idea. The gang doesn't suspect a thing.
And we can be back before they even miss us.
No more sneaking up here to be alone.
And no more outsmarting your father. I mean, he is a city attorney. Don't you?
Nice exposition.
That'll make it official. You like it?
Oh, it's beautiful. Let me try it on.
It's bad luck. Come on, we're wasting time.
Hey, cut those lights.
What are they having, a night ball game? Hey, let's not attract attention.
Turn them off.
We are on Old Man Bailey's property, and I don't think the police like us up
Why
here.
is everybody on Old Man Bailey's property if they know he hates it?
Be careful. I'd hate to
No
run
wonder
into
these
Old Man
They
Bailey.
hate this old man.
kids were such delinquents back then.
You've had enough practice.
A lot.
Ah, they're good kids.
But never enough.
They're good kids. Not bad kids. Ugh.
Mike, we've made it. At last we've hit the jackpot.
Turn off that light, you bum.
Wake up, I said. Mike, we've got it made. We're millionaires.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go to bed.
But this is different. It's big.
Oh.
Now look, I'm not trying to give you a pitch, but get this. You and me are gonna put on an exhibition with the first and only truly authentic spaceship.
You woke me up to tell me that?
Told you it was big, didn't I? Well, I've seen one. Just like all these jokers have been saying. It's big and round and glows sort of funny-like and gives off this funny sound like rrrr, rrrr, like that.
Oh. Like that, huh?
Yeah. And it landed over somewhere near that old house that's supposed to be haunted. Great, isn't it?
There it is. There's the physical comedy I've been looking for all night.
All right. But when I'm rolling in the dough, don't say that I didn't invite you in. Okay. You're invited out. I'll handle it myself. Go on! Go back to sleep. Sleep your life away.
Seriously, though.
Well, I'll go take care of myself.
Sir? Come in, lad.
What?
Why are these blasted alarms always at night? About this so-called spaceship of yours. Just where do you think it is?
From what
Nice
these kids
road.
said, it must be
What the
somewhere
fuck?
northeast of town.
Well, that checks with the last report we had from the radar station. I assume your man had it on the scope.
And we better get right
This
out there,
dude's
sir?
such a pimp.
The general was pretty sore at us for letting the last one get out of our scope. Army intelligence really scooped us that time.
Scoop, did you say?
Just a figure of speech, sir.
Well, I hope so. Lieutenant, there's just one thing I want to caution you about.
Yes, sir.
In civilian life, you were a publicity man.
What are you getting at, sir?
Just this. Our job is to prevent a possible nationwide panic by keeping the information from the public. I figure a public information officer is about the last thing we need.
I didn't request this assignment, sir.
I know that. But get this straight, Robertson. If you leak one word of any of this to your cronies, I'll have you court-martialed and shot. Do I make myself clear?
And shot?
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed, sir.
Good. Now go down the hall and get your men. And tell them to load their weapons.
You would think that he wouldn't have to say that.
They always forget.
You know, it's just
These
guys
kids.
just forgetting to load the dang weapons.
What do you think he was writing?
It's like a very good question.
Maybe he's a poet, but he keeps getting interrupted by these kids.
Can hardly see the road.
We want to get there in one piece.
He's not a crotchety old
half a mile to the
man.
highway.
Okay, we're having trouble. I'm gonna stand by. Sorry, we're back. Don't know what that was about.
What was it?
I don't know. It happened so fast.
I didn't even see it.
Hey, wait for me. Stan, what have we
Whoa.
done?
We ran over an alien.
Come on, give me a hand. Let's take him to the hospital.
What?
Oh, okay. Kind of made of eyes.
Kind of.
I don't know.
Is it still alive?
I'm not
Whatever it
touching
is,
it.
kill it.
I'm not touching it.
I think I'm going to be sick. Stan, take me away from here.
Yikes. Come on, Stan, take her away from there, bro.
It's funny that an eye creature couldn't see that coming.
Yeah, you would think with that many
Must
eyes.
have cut him when we hit that thing.
Are we stuck here?
Well, we can't drive on it. We're right off the rim, and I haven't got a spare. Look, we'll go to the old Bailey house and call the police. That's all we can do.
What was that?
Wind, I guess. Come on.
I guess. Surely 'twas the wind. All right, and that's the first third of the eye creatures. What do we think so far, Evan?
You know, it's I went into this, not really expecting a whole lot, and I think the dialogue is at least pretty snappy.
It's definitely snappy. It's definitely
Some of it's a little dodgy, a little questionable, but
just a little questionable.
but hey, we've just got some raunchy teenagers.
Yeah, all these 30-year-old looking teenagers out here. That's what you gotta love. I mean, even still to this day, 30-year-olds get hired to play teenagers, and it's like,
yeah,
we all buy it, but we also all know that person's not a teenager. Come on. Yeah. I mean,
the day
kids.
for night stuff. Never really a fan of that.
That's Larry Buchanan's go-to, though, man. That's his favorite
Yeah,
thing.
it's his signature move. That's unfortunately doesn't do it for me.
I mean, we saw it with Creature of Destruction very prominently because they're out on this beach and they're,
definitely daytime.
It was, yeah. And again, he's just taking the stop down on the camera a little bit and there's nighttime. It's nighttime now. That works.
It's very dim out here tonight.
That was how, his basically Larry Buchanan's filmmaking mind worked, was let me just put in the minimal effort to achieve the desired effect. And
pump these 8 movies out real quick.
I mean, I think it was within the span of 2 years that he made these 8 TV movies.
A lot.
And it was, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, he was, he was just kind of a tenacious guy in general, right? He was an orphan, grew up in like a Baptist orphanage. Yeah, right, in Texas. And, he hitchhiked to California and then got menial jobs around the film industry. Then was in the Signal Corps and got to make movies and training films and things like that, and started making shorts and moved back to Texas and did industrial films. And he was quite a character. He had all this experience before he started making indie films. Including, we talked about when we watched Creature of Destruction that he was acquainted with Jack Ruby because he had been making a documentary on the Dallas nightclub scene. And of course, Jack Ruby owned a nightclub and he said he hated Jack Ruby. And of course, he would go on to make he made these horror films. And he'd do rip from the headlines movies as well. But then his later career, he mostly did like conspiracy kind of films based on notorious deaths. So like JFK and I think he did one for Marilyn Monroe, right? Just kind of I think for Kennedy, it was like an alternate version where Oswald went on trial. Instead of getting murdered by Jack Ruby. Yeah. So that's an interesting kind of fictionalization of the whole thing. But his big first indie film that was a hit was this courtroom drama that the studio behind the TV films, AIP, bought, and they retitled it Free, White, and 21. And it was a huge hit. And that's actually what gave them the money to make the Beach Party movies, apparently.
Oh,
I don't know if that information comes from Larry Buchanan, because he was one of those filmmakers that lived long enough to kind of write a biography and kind of, talk himself up a little bit. And he said apparently that, and it apparently was a really big hit. And I think he made a couple movies. I think that one was 61. So he made a handful of movies before he did tonight's film. And the studio, AIP, distributed these independent productions. And, again, Texas, you wouldn't at this time, the film industry is more budding than you would expect. I mean, again, we talked about earlier, the editor for tonight's movie is SF Brownrigg, who did Don't Look in the Basement, right? He was apparently Buchanan's protege. And so, and he went on to do a handful of other horror movies as well after Don't Look in the Basement. But, he was heavily involved in this. They apparently shot some of this on a ranch owned by Gordon McLendon, who the name might not sound familiar, but he was the producer of the Giant Gila Monster and the Killer Shrews. And he was in the Killer Shrews, I believe, is he was just kind of a schlubby guy who got killed at some point. But yeah, so that's the thing that was interesting about Buchanan, is that he ran in the indie film circle of Dallas and interacted with all these other people who made movies that we've, seen or featured on the show. Annabelle Wienick, who we saw in Don't Look in the Basement. She was the doctor, the main doctor in Don't Look in the Basement. She was also in Encounter with the Unknown, in the segment about the hole. She was the mother of the the little boy whose dad went out and didn't come back. But she was the dialogue director or dialogue. What is it called? There's some name, special name. Yeah, I get dialogue director. And she also had a small role in Creature of Destruction, which again was the other Larry Buchanan film. She helped out with a lot of his movies. So yeah, it's so funny the way that person here, the Kevin Bacon degrees, that these people kind of all share.
The 6 degrees of Larry Buchanan.
Right. Yes, 100%. At this time in Dallas, Texas, my God, you definitely can't go more than 2 degrees. I mean, it's pretty interesting. So, like I said, he made 8 of these films. So the 2 trailers we're gonna get for our breaks are for some of the other Azalea films that he made, which were remakes of earlier AIP films, and both of these happen to be Roger Corman films. The first is for a 1955 film called The Day the World Ended, which I think we saw that trailer back when we watched The Phantom from 10,000 Leagues. And then the second trailer is for It Conquered the World. So those are both Roger Corman directed films that Larry Buchanan would go on to remake. And Corman apparently had a hand in AIP developing these, was in the room, helping. I don't know if there's any veracity to that, but it was all about making a buck. So we'll see these 2 Corman trailers, and then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting middle of The Eye Creatures. So stick around, we'll be right back. Oh wait, that's the movie.
One scientist foresaw the day the world ended.
There are 2 forms of life fighting for survival out here in this valley, and only one of them can win.
I'll talk to the girls in the morning.
The girls?
Yes. They should bear children as soon as possible.
But being a scientist, he did not consider human emotions.
No one takes my gun.
Tony, look out! He did not know about the uninhibited exhibitionism of a striptease dancer. He'd forgotten about the power of love and knew nothing about the vicious force of jealousy.
Nothing ever come easy to me.
Don't touch me. I can't stand you.
Tony, let the little girl go.
But more thrilling, more exciting, more mystifying is the monster. The mutation by atomic energy, part man, part beast, salaciously watching women as they bathe. A monster such as the eyes of man has never before seen. Killing one by one each of the few living men, hunting out the most beautiful of the remaining women to take as his mate.
What's this all about? What's everybody running from?
It's the end of everything.
What do you mean?
I'm not arguing theory, General. I'm here to ask you, to beg you, to save your own world.
It, the most fascinating mastermind man can conceive. A monster that can control all sources of the Earth's power. Able to pull man-made spaceships from their orbits. Making of those it chooses slaves. Of this woman, a willing handmaiden. Of the chief of police, a cold-blooded killer.
Well, I've known you for 5 years. You just killed a man in cold blood. Why?
I'll have to place you under protective custody.
Peter Graves, the scientist who fought it. Beverly Garland, who believed her love stronger than it. Lee Van Cleef, whose brilliant mind was captured by it.
Are you really ready to stop loving me?
I'll need you even when no emotion exists.
For a few dollars, you can hire a woman who'll fit all your fetishes. She'll match your requirements perfectly. Then if you ever get tired of her, you can always run down to the employment agency for another.
You'll know terror to freeze your blood. You'll feel the heart-stopping strength of the most fearful monster ever known.
You think you're gonna make a slave of the world? I'll see you in hell first.
It conquered the world. One scientist foresaw the day the world ended.
There are two forms of life fighting for survival out here in this valley, and only one of them can win.
I'll talk to the girls in the morning.
The girls?
Yes. They should bear children as soon as possible.
God damn it. Oh, Foss.
Hello?
Dude, I'm about to lose my fucking mind with my computer. I swear to God. That was the trailers for The Day the World Ended, and it conquered the world. So, again, Roger Corman just kind of set a precedent in terms of indie filmmaking, fast, cheap, and running and gunning. And that's definitely who Buchanan kind of took a cue from, and apparently literally. Because I think at this point, Corman was like really involved in like the AIP's like kind of trajectory in terms of like management and overseeing like kind of what the studio, the direction that they were moving in. So I think Corman was like definitely like, oh yeah, let's just remake some of these, just use the same scripts, and you don't need to pay a new writer, and you just reuse scores from old movies. And that's the thing, the score is all stock from older AIP films. That's why it doesn't seem to match in some scenes. At least to me, it's really like...
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So, you know, people talk about, you know, remakes nowadays and how, like, oh, they don't make any new movies. All they make is remakes. But is, like, historically, is that, you know, have they always been making a lot of remakes? Or are they making more nowadays? What do you think?
I think that certainly the number has gone up and all that. I mean, the thing is, it's funny because when the invention of sound in film, you suddenly had, oh, we've got to remake this silent film that was really successful. We need to remake it with sound, right? So you kind of had this idea established early, and then it just became a thing, especially if it was an adaptation, right? That, well, naturally, this will be, you know, like Hunchback of Notre Dame, or, you know, you think of some great novel. I mean, you can go and so, yeah, and so, like, in terms of remakes, like, it's just, it's, you know, it's more of a cash grab thing nowadays. But back in the day, there were remakes, but it would be a little bit more kind of a artful decision than a, you know, oh, let's make a quick buck. Although in this case, this was the quick buck. You know, this is what AIP especially they specialized in, was making a quick buck. And I read this quote back when we watched Creature of Destruction, but according to Buchanan, AIP told him, we want cheap color pictures, we want half-assed names in them, we want them 80 minutes long, and we want them now. You know, I'm sure it was some version of that.
Yeah, well.
But it's what you get here. You see, what you see is what you get. And right before we get into it, I would say they shot this in 2 weeks for a budget of maybe around like $25K, maybe less. So
yeah. I want to ask, what do you think about the monster costumes?
Well, we got a good up close glimpse.
We
right
got
a
good look.
We did.
We got an eyeful, you could say.
We did. Well, and did it look like it had multiple eyes?
Yeah, it looked like it was a creature that was just made of eyes.
Yeah, it's got all these like white bulbous kind of. That's what it's made up of, but within those, there's like these little eyes. So they're kind of hard to see. But yeah, I guess the eye creature, you do visualize a giant eye.
Right.
I do.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just the misleading poster. But I guess it's that classic, it's just like a joke of like, oh, you saw a giant eyeball? I saw a bunch of eyes making a person. It's like, oh, well, I guess that's an eye creature too. So, whatever you want it to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's the thing about this being like kind of a comedy too. It's like, well, how, can you judge it that harshly for being kind of hokey?
Right, and I mean, AIP kind of trafficked in hokey at this time. I mean, the Beach Party movies had kind of I think the year before this, they had made the last one, which was The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini, which we've seen the trailer for before. And, Boris Karloff is playing a ghost, and there's a person in a gorilla suit running around, and it's really cheesy and campy. Mm-hmm. And apparently, that was where this creature costume came from, was that movie. I don't know what it was used for in that movie, but that was where this costume first appeared.
So what, did they just put a bunch of eyeballs on a gorilla costume?
No, the gorilla was separate. This movie just had all kinds of crazy stuff in it because AIP was just like reaching out for anything they could grab to throw in here that they thought would. But they just
somebody just had a suit made of eyes.
Yeah, and they just that was the studio. That whatever they could get to make a movie, they would throw in there, even if it didn't make any sense or it wasn't like really with it or like aware of itself. Like they, it was all about the moolah, the green.
Hey man, you don't have to explain anything in science fiction. All you have to say is, ain't science wonderful?
Yeah, right. And then you can illegally peep on people and violate their privacy. Sure, absolutely. Well, on that note, anything before we get into the exciting middle of the eye creatures?
Do you think that's what the government does? Like, is that what the Patriot Act is? Somebody's peeping on me when I'm on Farmer Bailey's land.
They're right. Well, yeah. Well,
why is the government watching Farmer Bailey?
That's why he's running around with a shotgun. He has every reason to be paranoid.
He does. He's that's what he was writing earlier. He was if you're reading this, the government has killed me.
The government has been on my back for years. They finally trying to silence me. We'll see. On that note, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting middle of the eye creatures right now. So this is the old man's house, right?
I think so. Yeah, they've walked back to the farm.
Come on. What's the matter?
Well, the kids, they say this place is haunted.
Look, it may be, but I got a feeling that whatever's in there is a lot safer than what's out here.
Or is this just the haunted house?
I'm telling you, like, that sounds like an Ed Wood line. Like, a lot of these lines.
Anybody home?
Hurry, Stan. We've got no right to be here.
I wonder where he keeps the phone.
I wonder if
Stan?
he has one.
Come on. Honey, I'd rather do it myself.
I'd rather you did it too. Opening strange doors
I'm
isn't the
terrified
thing
of
for a
clutter.
good, clean, living American girl to do.
You're right. You can never tell what's on the other side.
Hey, Stan. There's the phone on the wall.
Oh, thanks.
Hey,
Now,
Stan.
there's nothing to be afraid of. You just keep your wits about you and things begin to take on the proper perspective.
Oh, you men, so masterful.
I know.
Well, what?
Keep telling me.
It looked scarier before
Yeah.
they zoomed in.
Operator, give me the police department. It's an emergency. Hello? My name is Kenyon, Stan Kenyon. I'm out here at the old Bailey place.
Yeah, young fella. What's the trouble? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sure. You've seen some little spaceman. I know, from another planet. Look, do me a favor. If you see him again, will you give him my love and tell him to go home? Well, it's Saturday night, all right.
Illegal aliens.
That just made it official.
He thought I was kidding.
He thought I was kidding.
No.
Take it easy, honey. In the kitchen, see if you can find some candles or something. I'll tell the cops.
I hope you can hear like the clicking of the lighting machine.
Operator? Hello? Hello? Operator?
It's thunder.
Operator?
It's just the wind.
It's not the wind.
Operator? The darn phone's dead. I guess the lightning got it.
Darn it.
Stan, there was something out there. It was looking at me. No, but I saw it. No.
What are you doing in my house?
You're right. He does look like a spaceman. Hi, Mr. Bailey. We did something with our car, and we came up here to call the police. You were out.
The door was open.
That don't give you the right to walk in. Who was it you hit?
It wasn't a person. It was a thing.
Oh, it don't make no difference. It all spells people. And people spells trouble. I knew it. I knew it was going to happen if you kids didn't stay off my property. Yeah. We'll call the police, all right.
The phone's dead.
That's what you say.
Look, we didn't kill anybody. I mean, it wasn't a person.
It was a space thing, a monster.
I know it sounds crazy.
You kids been drinking?
No, sir.
What's your name, Sonny?
Stan Kenyon. I work down at Blender's gas station.
Yeah, I thought I'd seen you before.
We didn't hurt anything human. I took...
Okay, we'll go.
And you tell your friends they'd better keep off of my property, or they'll get a backside full of rock salt. Now you get. All right, come on, get.
Okay.
Backside full of rock salt. Should make cell phones
Hello,
like that.
Sarah? Tell them to send some cops out here and chase these smooches off of my property. Huh? All right. Yeah. See that you do.
Hey, it's me again.
This guy trying to come out and get his big meal ticket. Got the body of a real live spaceman.
I'm gonna be rich. This is a business somehow.
Ugh, don't touch it. Uh-oh. You about to get your backside full of rock salt. Now, this actually looks like night for night.
Yeah.
This is what convinced Larry Buchanan it all had to be day for night. And he's like, this sucks. It's too hard. It's too late. I want to go to bed. We'll just shoot it during the daytime. That's the other thing. You don't have to do a nighttime schedule.
It's true, yeah.
That was a cool shot. Close up on the eyes. The eyes look pretty good. All right, now we're back in Larry Buchanan's comfort zone.
We drove right through the night. It's daytime now.
No, it's still night, dude. Listen to the crickets.
Right, that's how you know.
Yeah, if it was
And
dawn,
the porch lights on.
You'd hear the you know, you hear the rooster crow, of course.
Mike, Carl. Now listen. Listen, Mike.
He just let himself in the old man's house.
What is it, Carl?
He figured out how to use the phone.
I can't tell you what it is. but
Yeah,
I
how the
swear I'm
phone's
telling you the
magically
truth.
working.
I can't tell you what it is. Because I don't know what it is. It's stuck under a car. Now listen, Mike. Get a cab and come out here. I need your help.
Yeah, well, that's too bad. I'm going back to sleep.
But Mike.
But nothing.
Sounds like he's
Come
like
on.
just off camera.
Don't hang up. Now listen. Do me just one favor. Clean everything out of the refrigerator.
The refrigerator?
Yeah. What I'm bringing home is perishable. We've got to keep it on ice. Got it, Mike? Including the shelves. That's my boy. You won't regret it. I swear to you. You do believe me, don't you? I'll be right home with it.
Sure, everything out of the refrigerator.
Everything. Got it?
I got it, I got it.
Who are these guys, Bert and Ernie?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize the kitchen was just gonna be right off screen.
Sharing a really small apartment. Nice, he got out of there just in the nick of time. Was able to use his phone and everything.
Blasted smoochers. Making calls on my telephone.
Here. What the heck am I doing? I'm as crazy as he is.
You can go back to bed. Yep. What? What was that? Oh. Ah.
Wow.
Put my hands on you.
And they made a bunch of those suits.
You did. Jesus.
They're getting
They're getting him as bad as the Manos' brides. The Master's brides got Torgo, dude. Just
got him.
I'm gonna swipe my hands at you to death. Yeah. It's about time the army got here.
I see it, but I don't think I believe it.
What a story.
That's the green light our jet pilots have been telling us they've seen.
Now you're cooking with gas.
Sir, enough with the jokes, Lieutenant. If those things turn out to be unfriendly...
You've got a point there, sir. Shall I drive closer so we can get a better look?
No, let's stay right
It's gotta
here.
look better in his
Something may be
leopard
watching
print
us
robe.
right now. Airman, get me guard headquarters on that shortwave radio. I'm gonna get some engineers right out here and see if we can get inside those things.
You think we should get some photographers, sir?
Lieutenant, when you've been in the Air Force as long as I have, you'll learn you don't have to think. All you do is follow standard operating procedures.
Yes, sir.
In this case, SOP calls for engineers, not photographers.
Excuse me, sir. I've got the National Guard.
I'm sorry.
Give me that
Excuse me. Are you telling me there's an SOP for if you find a flying saucer?
Oh, you know there is, Evan. Come on.
Come on, let's see what it is.
Come on.
Can we get somebody from the Air Force to comment on that?
What is it?
It's one of those space things, a live one.
What's making that noise?
He's banging away at the fender of the car with some kind of a hammer.
Oh, let's get out of here.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Just having fun. He hates the car.
You okay?
Yeah. Oh, how much further?
Just about another quarter of a mile to the highway.
Oh, I wish we had stuck to the main road. These shoes weren't meant for plowed fields.
I know, honey, but believe me, it's shorter. Okay? Police car.
But they must have believed you after all.
Come on, let's go back there. The police will take care of those things.
Jeez. Brutal. O'Neill. So O'Neill, I've got an interesting little factoid about O'Neill. They were a funeral home.
Okay, now let's have this again. You say you were driving along without
Yes,
your lights?
a very special
But that didn't have
funeral
anything to
home
do with it, see? He just suddenly appeared.
What's so special?
Suddenly
They were the ones
appeared.
that transported JFK's body from the
We were
hospital
really scared,
to
man. I'm glad you guys came along. Yeah, I'll bet
the
you
plane
are.
that he was
Doc,
flown back to
over here.
DC. So they provided the casket
Now,
and transported the body.
Kids, before I take you down to headquarters, I want you to do something for me, okay? Sure. See this nice little balloon? Well, I want you to blow it up.
A balloon? What for? We're gonna have a party?
Never mind, just blow.
Hey, come on, we're wasting time now. Aren't you gonna do anything about the spaceman? It may be a whole invasion.
Blow, I said.
Is this like the early version of a
laser.
breathalyzer?
Maybe.
Wild, dude.
The balloon test.
Oh, Swippets, bro.
Did you ever hear such a cock and bull story?
You need to calm
Spacemen,
down. Here's some
spaceship.
nitrous.
Wow.
In my days, we were content with pink elephants, but kids these days.
And Tough, the gal says to me, you don't call him human, do you? What do you think about that?
Well, what can you expect with all these bad books being written nowadays?
Hey, Mr. Detective.
Yeah, that's what the problem is, bro. This old man
You know,
knows.
fella, for someone who's committed a serious
Kids
crime,
these
you
days with
are
their
very
books.
anxious to get to the police station.
All right, now I'm gonna go test
A
this air
serious
balloon.
crime.
You call killing one of those monsters a crime? Something's weird around here.
Mm-hmm. Something or somebody. Come on, let's go.
You're under a roots. I love this dude wearing his fedora inside.
Read this before you sign it.
Look, this is silly. We told you what happened. Now why don't you do something?
That's exactly what we're doing, miss.
This is not a statement.
Why?
It's a confession.
What's the practicality
Now,
of
look,
wearing
you
your
admit
hat
driving the car.
like this?
I told you that.
And with the lights off?
Right, but that
Now look, buddy boy, whether you realize it or not, driving without your lights and killing the man is against the law in this state.
Killing a man.
What?
Thing a man, do you?
And I haven't even added in drunk driving yet. But when we get the balloon test back, that's another strike against you.
Look, officer, my father's city attorney, and I demand that you send
How
her
can you
right
take
away.
it seriously with a name like that?
Well, miss, it so happens that I know your father, and he's already been sent for.
He'll straighten you out all right.
Look,
This is such a funny
I'm not saying another word. Now,
misunderstanding.
you want to try to beat it out of me, you go ahead.
Beat it out of you.
You called
Never
that thing a
fail.
human?
Try to be nice to a
Tell
young
that to the
punk, and
cop.
Next thing you know, you're up on charges of using the third degree. What's this about the third
You're gonna
degree?
charge him with a hate crime.
Uh-oh. Oh.
These people are crazy. Stan and I have had a horrible time.
Thought you told me you were going out with Bill Moore. Not with this roughneck.
But don't you want to hear about the monsters?
I heard that ridiculous story when the sergeant called. Now listen to me, Susan. If it's humanly possible, I'll get you out of this mess. As for this boy, he can take his medicine.
Thanks a lot.
They're ready for the identification, sir.
We'll be right over. If you'll come with me, we'll make the formal identification.
Look, Mr. Rogers, wait till you see this thing, and then maybe you'll believe us.
He's not gonna believe ya. Oh my god.
Shall I try it again, sir?
Go ahead. We have you surrounded.
I don't believe anybody's in that thing. Probably under remote control.
Would you like to take a walk out there in the open and test your theory?
Well, no, sir, not especially.
Then shut up and start thinking of a way to explain this thing without throwing the whole nation into a complete panic.
Yes, sir.
Beg your pardon, sir. Maybe if we fire a few rounds at it, we'd scare someone out. Anyhow, get some reaction.
All right, go ahead.
I just really want to shoot this gun.
It's not gonna go well.
Dude, that guy saw his chance to be the first man to shoot at aliens.
To operate in the Settling Torch.
Leapt
We're gonna
at
get
Can I
inside
do
this
it? Can I
thing and see
try
what
it?
makes it tick.
Yes, sir.
O'Neill Funeral Chapel.
Nice, Neil.
Oh, now he takes his hat off.
His working hat.
His typing hat.
Is this standard procedure?
Oh no.
Well?
I didn't run over this man. I ran over a monster.
Are you still on that kick? You see, Mr. Rogers...
Damn.
I didn't
Okay, this is
exaggerate.
interesting.
Look,
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers, sir, I swear, I'm telling the truth. It was a spaceman.
I've heard enough of that.
I saw it.
You know who he is? Well, according to a driver's license we found on him, his name is Carl Fenton. We also found out he lives at 121 Maple Avenue.
Where does he work?
Well, as far as we could discover, he doesn't. He and a friend of his kind of just drifted into town about a month ago.
A friend?
Yeah, a fella he was living with. We tried to call him to come down and identify the body, but he, well, we didn't get an answer.
We couldn't get him out of bed.
No, they could not. Man, he's in for a rude awakening.
That's your office. All right.
Or I guess it's a rude awakening.
He cleaned out his fridge for nothing.
He really did.
Milk's gonna spoil.
Get this, both of you. You're lucky in one respect. The man you killed is a nobody. There's only one person who's interested in the charge.
Wow.
He doesn't count.
Daddy, I swear to you, Stan didn't kill anything that was...
Quiet, Susan.
It's
At
just
least
like he was
Stan has the
nobody.
sense to listen. Now, tomorrow I'll go over and talk to this Carl Fenton's roommate and see what we can do to help Stan. Come on, Susan, I'm taking you home.
I won't go unless Stan goes.
Don't be foolish, you're not liable.
Yes, I am. Stan's lying. I was driving that car.
Hey, now, wait a minute.
You've covered for me long enough.
Okay, that was what a fucking transition.
Yeah, we're having this big, emotional moment.
Okay, now hold on. Are these soldiers in camo or leopard print?
Look at they're in their pajamas.
We've almost got it.
Uh-oh.
Hey, look at that. Looks like some kind of fuse.
Hey, look at that fuse right there. Amazing.
What the?
What the?
Okay, let's go. What was that?
Something blew up.
Something blew up.
Hey.
Looks like somebody tainted tap water.
Mondays, am I right?
I could care less. You know something, those things, whatever they are, they're smarter than all of us put together.
What do you mean?
Remember when we saw them banging away at the fender of our car?
What's so smart about that?
Don't you see? They killed that man. And then they dented the fender of my car to make it look like we did it. It's frame-up.
And we thought they were mad at the car.
Right. Hey, somehow we've got to go back out there and get something.
Yeah, don't you feel
evidence that they'll
stupid
believe,
now?
because if we
Got
don't,
framed by aliens.
I'm going to jail.
What a bunch of chumps.
We thought they were mad at the car.
I know it.
They're really smart. We thought they were mad at the car.
What are we waiting for?
Oh yeah, we're just gonna sneak right out the back door.
Whatever it was, it sure burned itself out in a hurry. Let's get up. Power car out there right away.
Yes, sir.
Now, what about those two kids? I've talked a little sense into
Fedora's
their heads.
back on, man. He means
Just takes a
business.
little teenage psychology.
Teenage psychology.
They're gone.
I hope he has the hat off.
Forget it.
I want it on and off
So
randomly.
you talked some teenage sense into them, did you? Look, officer, they were scared to death. Don't put this in the record. I'll take the full responsibility.
You still here?
Well, of course I'm here. Where should I be?
I saw your car drive off, so naturally I said...
Oh, no. If those kids have stolen my car, you said you'd be responsible. I hope you know what you're doing.
So do I. So do I.
Now, Corporal, if you'd have been looking at your radar instead of that scanner, we wouldn't have let that spaceship slip by us.
I'm looking.
It's too late.
It is kind of late. I wonder if they forgot about us.
Just look at the scope.
But not too late for that date in town. Okay. I'm looking. But it's kind of dull, though. Blip, blip, blip.
Yeah, blip, blip, blip.
Hey, I should snap on the infrared and take a peek at them kids naked.
And get us court-martialed, you mean?
Okay. Blip, 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 blip.
Snap on the infrared. We'll just take a peek at those kids in the line of business. What else?
Sure. He's fucking
This is so
guys.
weird.
Here you go.
I think I have some weird monster film on TV. Nothing as
Same.
ugly as that could be for real.
Oh, no. Have you looked in your mirror lately? Funny, ha, ha, ha.
This
But
movie's
it
so
must be near the
snarky.
end of the picture.
How can you tell?
Well, that searchlight
Well, that was
swung
humor
by, right?
back in the day.
Well, that stupid monster's beginning to stumble. I'll bet you $5 he falls right off that cliff.
Have you seen this picture before?
Scout's honor. No.
You've got yourself a bet.
Now, watch.
What?
These
Hey, let's
things-
just throw the suit off the cliff and film it.
I still think you saw that picture before.
These things are
Snap
brilliant.
on a scope before you cost me some more money.
Can do, Sergeant. Can do. Blip, 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 blip.
Oh, shut up.
And that is gonna take us to our second break. We're 2/3 of the way through the Eye Creatures. What are we thinking so far, Evan?
So I think I might have missed something there at the end. So what I'm assuming we just witnessed was that miserable alien, which was so racked with guilt over killing that teenager, he threw himself off the cliff.
I'm not sure why this alien
Couldn't live with the guilt.
I'll say that I missed that too. I think that's a plausible explanation, surely, but I could not tell you. I think I missed it too, and it was maybe they'll explain it after the break, but I couldn't tell you why that.
Maybe these Air Force guys they're pulling the strings. They made him do it.
Well, yeah.
They pushed the alien off that building or off the cliff.
I mean, you think these two clowns are going to be able to remote control aliens? I don't know. You have too much faith in them, I think. These guys, I mean, you know,
I think these guys had a camera set up in the book repository in Dallas.
I think they might have crystal clear. You like it. You want like HD multiple angle version of the Zapruder film. You just got to go find their footage and like, whoa, like now we actually know who did it because we have this crystal clear footage. We actually see where the bullets are coming from. As I said, bullets.
Bullets.
Think about it.
Think about it.
But we won't get too much in the even though that is definitely in the spirit of Larry Buchanan to get all conspiratorial. We'll refrain ourselves. But yeah, I mean, so far, I don't know. It's just so interesting. There are like multiple factions, like multiple. It's almost like Phantom Phantom Empire in the way that all these people kind of have different interests and you're trying to follow them all. But in this case, it's like, all right, where are we going to go next? Are we going to go back to this dude sleeping in his bed? Are we going to go to, we're just all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, I can appreciate that the monster did, they did something kind of smart. Like, I do like this misunderstanding where, like, because how many times have you seen, like, these kids see a monster, they see an alien, and no one will believe them. But that's kind of just like it.
Yeah.
But here there's stakes to it because they're
true.
being framed for murder.
That's true. That's a pretty big plot. Like you can get a lot of meat off those bones. Like And that, yeah, I mean, I do think that they're doing that. You know, that's definitely a good, like you're saying, it's really great stakes. So, yeah, hopefully a lot of meat on that. Yeah, nice and full. We'll see. We'll see what the last third of the movie brings us. But I don't know. It's just always so funny. Again, like we were talking about earlier, even with movies nowadays where the focus is teenagers, and yet here are these clearly older. Like that's the thing. Watching this, the guy who Stan, is the character's name. Watching Stan, and you know they're like calling him a kid, and I'm like, he is definitely 30. He is for sure. He's my age. Like that'd be if I was playing a teen. You see these bags under these eyes? You think this is a teenager-looking face? I mean, if I shave my beard, I go baby face. Maybe I can pull it off.
Yeah, I definitely look like a teenager right now.
Yeah, Evan is rocking the teen with the long hair. Teen idol over here, Evan. No, but the actor playing Stan, John Ashley, he's actually a very interesting guy. He started out actually working for AIP when they first started in the late 50s. But ended up kind of getting into some disputes and left the studio, worked for some other companies, and then ended up coming back for the Beach Party films. And he was a Beach Party regular. And of course, we talked about the Beach Party films last week with EGOT. Because we said that's what EGOT was kind of like a precursor to, was the Beach Party films. Well, John Ashley was a staple. He was in like 4 or 5 of like the 8 or 9 Beach Party movies, and he always played like the friend of the main guy. He never played the main guy.
He's a buddy. He's typecast.
He's a buddy. Yeah, he was always. And there was some quote I saw in like reading his Wikipedia, you know, my source, but it was like, and the best friend stands there in his red trunks, and like that's it. You know, that's like always this, and then he's standing off to the side. But you know, it was steady work, right? And it's funny that, you know, with these Azalea films, the goal was to always get one name. So in this case, John Ashley was enough of a name. According to John Ashley, he figured that he must have been paid over half of this movie's budget.
Wow.
And that was the thing. They just wanted a star name. So John Ashley was a star name. But he ended up having a wild career, not just as an actor, but as a producer, mainly. He produced some pretty interesting things. He actually did a fair number of horror movies in the Philippines in the early 70s. There were, like, you know, there had been some films shot in the Philippines before, but John Ashley teamed up with a filmmaker out of the Philippines named Eddie Romero, and they made independent films for Roger Corman's company, New World Pictures. And it was like the blood films were basically what they were called, because they always had blood in the title, and they were color, and they had gore, and they, you know, had ridiculous monsters. And John Ashley would star in the movies, and he would also produce. And so those are the 2 trailers that we have for our break is our like these blood films that John Ashley produced. So the first one, I believe, is Brides of Blood. That was the first one he made. The first trailer that we're gonna see is Brides of Blood. Okay, I was like, question, it's Brides of, or no, Brains of Blood. There are multiple. See, the thing is, the titles are so like similar. Blanks of Blood. Well, the second one is it actually doesn't have blood in the title. I was wrong. Beast of the Yellow Night. So,
okay.
But shot in the Philippines, and then he ended up, you know, he also had like a theater chain that he managed in Oklahoma. And so he would be in the Philippines for 3 months of the year making movies, and then he would go back to the States and work on his theater business and go and appear in probably a handful of movies and but hey, getting to go out of the Philippines and make movies, and he got convinced Roger Corman, hey, like, because Roger Corman had shot in Puerto Rico, early in his career when he did Creature from the Haunted Sea. So when he had his own studio, he was going to send some filmmakers to Puerto Rico, and John Ashley was the one who said, hey, come to the Philippines. We've already got a little bit of an infrastructure going here, so come here. So Roger Corman and some other indie producers made horror movies and women in prison film, or they called them women in cage films, because these movies were in the jungle. So, and action films. And he actually was an associate producer, maybe uncredited, on Apocalypse Now, which shot in the Philippines. He was responsible for helping them get helicopters and certain things. Yeah. But then realized how long the shoot was going to be and was like, hey, I only spend 3 months a year out here. I got to go back and check in on my businesses. I can't be staying out here helping you guys produce this bonkers movie, which there's a whole documentary about the making of Apocalypse Now and how messed up it was. Hearts of Darkness. It's great. But we're going to see these two John Ashley Philippine-made horror films. And then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting conclusion of The Eye Creatures. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Now, from the world of the gruesome and grotesque, comes your most horrifying meeting with nerve-chilling fear. It's an unbelievably terrifying experience, but you must see all this for yourself if you're brave enough. Horror walks the night as the half-dead creature causes savage death and destruction.
One promising result of this phase of the experiment is that the pernicious side effects of chlorophyll on the body itself have been arrested. In the meantime, the body is alive, but is merely vegetating. It cannot be activated without a guiding intelligence, which cannot be provided by a mechanical device. On the other hand, the Ramon's head cannot as yet be safely returned to his body.
So you've gone back to experimenting with human beings again?
Oh, yes. Your original judgment has been thoroughly vindicated. I'm madder than ever.
You'll see an orgy of bloody terror as a mad fiend transplants human heads in the Cave of Horrors. It's more fantastic than science, more shocking than fantasy, as you see a super struggle between life and death, all to find the forbidden secrets of the weird and sinister scientists of doom. You'll never forget the creature without a head, controlled by an insane artificial brain. When you see the most shocking screen experience of them all, Beast of Blood.
When the evil in a man has so rotted away his soul that even death cannot bring him release, he suffers the cruelest curse ever placed upon mortal man by the host of darkness. He becomes the Beast of the Yellow Night.
What happened to his face?
Mangled beyond recognition in an industrial accident.
He returned from the dead to possess the body, the life, and the woman of another. But his desire made him a savage beast, condemned to stalk the night with an insatiable lust for living flesh.
Nobody could have done that with his bare hands.
What kind of a weapon would you need to rip out a man's heart with a single blow?
Tahimik lang. May sasabihin ako sa inyo.
Tayo niyan!
Starring John Ashley and Mary Wilcox. Beast of the Yellow Night. See it with someone you trust.
See it with someone you trust? Maybe? Like, so
I always go to see movies with people I don't trust.
well, I've heard other like horror movie like narrator or catchphrases from that time where it's like, see it with some. I know I've heard see it with someone you hate. I've heard things like that before. So it's so funny because I was expecting something a little more cutting than trust.
Yeah.
And so the little pause that he put, the dramatic pause before it too, also caught me off guard, like even more so. So that was amazing. But yeah, those are an example of the kind of movies John Ashley was producing and starring in out of the Philippines in the early 70s. And he would actually go on to kind of take mainly a producing role later in his career, most famously for a little television show entitled The A-Team.
Okay.
He was a supervising producer, later the executive producer, and he's like the narrator in the is it the credits where they're like there's a little narration of like if there's a job, like blah blah blah.
Right,
like, yeah.
Or some a crime they didn't commit.
Yeah, that's John Ashley doing the narration. So interesting little, it's always funny when we have an actor in our movies that like, like I always try to find something like, here's something we may know this person from. So anytime I can find something, it's like, oh, okay, the A-Team. All right. Whoa. Wow. All right. So, and then he went on to produce more TV after that. There was a 1 or 2 season show in the late 80s called Werewolf that he helped produce. And
what's that about?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I'll have to go watch it, I guess.
No, I actually did watch a few episodes of it like a year or two ago, because I was just saying I had always seen the Wikipedia page and I was like, let's see, and it was like ambitious for a network TV show, but it was just also like very 80s and just kind of like cheesy and corny. The main drama with it was the guy that they hired to be like the main antagonist. Like after a few episodes, it's like I'm not putting on werewolf makeup. I'm not even gonna do this show anymore. And so it didn't last very long. But hey, interesting. You know me, I love werewolf stuff. So.
Right, yeah.
Gotta love a werewolf show. But John Ashley, definitely, it's funny to especially see somebody that starts as an actor, they go on to have a like pretty successful career producing. You're behind it. According to Larry Buchanan, the director of tonight's film, John Ashley was going through a divorce right as they started the production. So he had to shoot around John Ashley, but then when John Ashley was there, they would talk like filmmaking all night. He said they would shoot all day, and all day and night they would just, talk about casting and shooting and making movies. And
just stayed up all night talking. Till the sun rose.
Right.
It
does.
Romantic.
It does. But apparently, that's Buchanan taking credit for what Ashley would go on to do later on. I told him how to make movies and how to do all these things because he said all that. We would work all day, talk all night, and then he went off to Manila and began making those bamboo girl pictures and made a fortune. That's his quote. Yeah, I mean, and then according to Ashley, he said Buchanan was a nice guy and it was a real at-ease pace. Referring to this movie, that the pace was at ease. We just kind of worked until we felt like, okay, that's enough. It was very small. It was a very small crew and quite well organized. Buchanan had it together.
We didn't work too hard on this one.
We didn't work too hard, but it was a tight crew, and it was a tight ship. It's so like that's how it should be. Honestly,
It should be. Yeah, you never hear about the shoots that everything went fine.
That's what I do love about Larry Buchanan's the two movies we've seen. I feel like there was a quote with Creature of Destruction that it was well, yeah, it was really cheap and quick, but it wasn't hard to make. We weren't mad. We weren't, it was easy, and we just shot until, we were like, are we good? Yeah, we're good. Okay. It didn't seem like and he knew what he could handle. Not too stressful, it sounded like, which is again how it should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about what we've seen tonight. Other than I guess the explosion, everything has been pretty easy. I mean, nothing too crazy. Even the action scenes where just the monsters going,
But that's the thing, the 50s through the 60s, both in movies and television, you could get away with that. You could get away with not really delivering on what your poster or your title or your marketing campaign is promising, right?
I really wish that we had the eye monsters from the poster.
I know, I do too, dude. It's definitely a bummer because I should have included the trailer for the Trollenberg tear. That's almost a tongue twister.
Yeah, just saying that
but yeah, I should have included that because it would have given us our fix. So after the show, we'll have to watch the trailer for that and get satisfied that we saw some kind of actual eye creature as we visualized one.
Right, yeah. When you say eye monster, a certain kind of image kind of comes to
very
mind.
Specific for probably 90% of people. And then the other 10% who are just naturally contrarian, they're the ones that think of it as a bunch of eyeballs together into one big thing. That's Larry Buchanan for you, contrarian.
I guess if you're a classics nerd, you could hide behind, I think it's Argus. It was a sentry that had 100 eyes or something. Worked for one of the gods, Athena or something.
Okay. And of course, how easy it is for me to forget that everything really comes from the fact that we've been creating dramatic stories since the beginning of time, and all this stuff really is just permutations of something that came before it. And
Nothing
going
new
back
under the
to
sun.
Yeah, no, not at all, right? Well, anything else before we get into the exciting conclusion of the Eye Creatures?
Yeah, maybe that's how this is going to shake out. They're not aliens, it's the Greek gods.
Well, wouldn't that just, that would really put the philosophical edge on the Larry Buchanan film. That's what.
Break out Poseidon.
Yeah, let's see him. I'm ready.
Let me see that trident.
On that note, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting conclusion of the Eye Creatures right now.
Gee, Stan, I'm worried about taking this car.
Compared to everything else, a little car theft isn't going to matter.
It's just a little car, though. It's just a sheriff's car.
Look, we just stole a police car. Calm down. We're gonna give it back.
I mean, that claw, that hand does look good.
Yeah.
Really not bad looking.
Yeah, it would look better attached to a different monster, but...
But not a bulbous... just kind of, like, looks like he's just covered in giant warts.
Oh my god. So the hand looks good until...
You get, like, to past the wrist.
Well, until you see it was pressing against the ground, you could just see it was very obviously made of rubber.
The rubber crinkling.
Don't get too far away, I'm frightened.
Don't be afraid, we can handle this.
We've got a tire iron.
Dear friend, you are Supreme Commander in charge of that department.
I mean, it's definitely a fake rubber hand, but I do love the wrinkles, right?
Yeah.
The witch fingers. It is just witch fingers. Yeah. Oh!
It's gonna drive.
It's
gonna run them over.
It's thing. Oh, Evan, how can he push in the clutch and press the gas and change the...
Unless this whole thing's
I mean,
a
come
dream,
on, it's too much.
Which is a polite word for nightmare. Come on.
Hey, what is this? A
How about somebody's just shaking
Just
the
seems
car?
like the natural thing to do out here.
So how about we go back to Farmer Bailey's land?
You know, it's a perfect
there's a lot
place
of
to
them out
spend
there.
this moonlit
And
night.
if any of them saw it, that would convince the police that we're telling the truth.
You want to bet? If the police saw it, they'd say we'd been drinking. You know something? Sometimes I think, no matter how many kids try to tell the police something, they still wouldn't believe it.
It's an idea. Let's drive out to the point and see if any of the kids are still there.
What do we got to lose?
The point, aka.
I'm sorry, Stan. I just can't relax.
Yeah, I know what you mean. This would happen tonight of all nights, huh?
They're driving right now.
I expected to be frightened on my wedding night, but nothing like this.
Well, thanks a lot.
Is it? It's not good.
Oh, you don't expect to be frightened on your wedding night?
Ah! I'm gonna get you.
Oh, Susan, take it easy. And we've got trapped inside.
Oh, Stan, take me away from here, please, please.
Honey, don't you see? At last we've got some evidence.
Carl needs it. And how are we going to get it to the police station?
We'll just have to get somebody to come down here and see it, that's all.
But who?
Hey, remember what your father said? At the police station, he was right about one thing. The one person who'd be interested enough to listen to us is Carl's roommate. We just gotta find him.
But where is he?
Of course, it all comes down to Carl's roommate. Egads.
All we have to do is convince him to get out of bed.
That's it. We'll go over there and get him. Okay? Come on.
That is, without a doubt, the craziest story I've ever heard.
I don't know, Ernie.
Look, we were just calling.
The striped shirt, he's definitely a bird, dude.
Nobody answered.
Thanks to these.
Or wait,
With a big
I think
mouth like
Ernie
Carl.
is it Ernie?
Sure.
It's Ernie.
Weapon.
God damn.
Please call the
It's been a
police.
long time since I brushed up on my Sesame Street.
Come on.
Okay. Okay, but if this is some kind of a joke,
Whatever you say, don't mention our names.
If they find out we're here, we're done for.
don't worry. Hello, operator. Get to the police station. Hello, police. This is Mike Lawrence. I live at 121 Maple with my roommate, Carl Fenton. Did you say Carl Fenton? We've been trying to get a hold of you. Your roommate was killed tonight. A hit-and-run victim. Killed? Do you know who did it? Yeah, there were two kids, a boy and a girl. They've given us a slip, temporarily, but don't worry. We'll catch them again. You mean you had them and they got away? I've been living in a fool's paradise. I thought the police were alert. Yeah. And were they scared? You should have heard the story
yeah.
they told.
I thought the police were alert. Yeah.
You have what?
Pretty loose-lip policeman. I feel like they wouldn't tell you
Thanks a lot,
that the
officer.
prisoner had escaped.
Can you come down tomorrow and claim the body? Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Well, we telling you the truth?
Your story checks out. Carl tried to tell me something about it.
Now will you come with us?
I'm a nut. Yes. Give me a chance to get dressed.
Let me just clear out the refrigerator.
I'm not saying there is a claw, mind you. But if there is one, I'm going to get a picture of it. Hey, great. It's a hot one.
What's so funny?
I'm just thinking how Carl will feel when I put him on exhibition as the world's first victim of a spaceman.
Damn, that is cold-blooded. Well, is it what Carl would have wanted? Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. I guess, you know, at least they're still together, right?
I mean, hey, some people don't get famous until after they die.
True.
Battery's going dead. When's the last time you got some water?
Whenever the filling station man asked me.
Not the radiator, he means the battery water.
What's that?
I'm with you.
How about a little
I don't know what battery water
I'm a
is.
guest here, remember? Okay. Come on.
God, look at the size of that fucking steering wheel, dude. Oh my god.
When's the last time you replaced the blinker fluid?
I like this. No top, no motor, but a brand new shiny spotlight. Somebody afraid of the dark?
Oh, I didn't get
Have
it
you
for that.
oiled up your
What
spotlight?
did you get it for?
Well, the chrome makes an excellent mirror.
Well, at least she's got muscle. No brains, but muscle.
The chrome. Oh, I thought he was gonna drive off and leave him.
Pile of junk.
Please watch your language. Elvis is very sensitive.
Off to the side, pushing the car.
Yeah, the gang calls her Elvis. She shakes and shimmies a lot, but she can really go.
Wait, what? Why was the car moving? They weren't driving anywhere.
Yeah, it's just idle's really rough. It really
Larry
doesn't maintain that car.
Larry got a little confused in the editing stage.
What's going on here?
It's all right, Sergeant. One of our jets crashed.
Yeah, I had a busy night, too. Been flooded with calls from people who say they've seen flying saucers and little spacemen. Wonder how that rumor ever got started.
You got me, Sarge.
Well, good night.
Night, Sergeant.
Well, did you get rid of them? Just can't stand fuzz.
Fuzz?
Well, that's what my nephew calls them. That kid has me brainwashed.
Yes, sir. I gave him a story that one of our jet planes crashed and that we were taking care of everything.
Did he believe you?
Colonel, sir, you are talking to the man who made the papers believe 45-year-old B-girls were teenage maidens. This was duck soup.
What?
I'm sorry, what?
I don't think I understood any of that.
What?
Did you find any signs of life, sir? Anything, I mean, besides the fuzz.
Whatever flew that thing down here went up in smoke. Nothing left but ashes.
Job well done, sir.
Makes you proud, doesn't it?
Clean all over, sir.
That's the ticket. Being a part of a show like this, protecting your country from alien invaders. Think of it. Nobody but this special unit and the President of the United States know what really happened here tonight.
You mean you think we know what happened?
Well, of course we do. I think.
This top secret security business is like scratching, Colonel. Once you get started, it's hard to stop.
Just what are you getting at, Lieutenant? Spit it out.
Colonel, did it ever occur to you that there might be other things being hushed up by other units just like ours?
Wow.
It had
Never
not
thought
occurred
about
to
that.
me. You just blew my mind.
So are the black dots on the face, is that a nose or eyes?
They've got to be a nose, dude. Like,
I've been
because the
reading it
eyes
as-
look like
as
they're on the
nose.
side
Yeah.
more. Like, see the... I don't know, dude. I love how you can
Really
see the
not very threatening.
the foam rubber like hands where they end.
I can't see anything.
It's in there. It's got to be.
Hey, wait a minute. I got an idea. I'll give you some light.
This is what happened the first time. They left. And then...
Right.
What was that?
That was it.
Mike, did you see it?
I saw something. Whatever it is, it's on the floor. Look at that, Stan. I'd never believed it.
Seeing's believing.
Man, could I clean up with a dozen of those.
What could they do?
Play 6 pianos. Or 3 pianos and 3 drums.
Okay.
That's where your brain goes?
You're pretty sick.
Oh, and I may be.
I gotta get a picture of this.
What?
I'll be. If it lets you live.
Gone.
But, well, I saw something. It was right there.
Look, come on, let's get him back to town. I mean, they've got to believe us now when Mike backs us up. They can't accuse him of being a hysterical kid.
Well, all right, come on.
Bro, you're older than me.
We've got an adult. That means we're credible.
Don't start getting excited now. You got to be absolutely calm when you call the police.
I'm glad you told me.
Uh-oh.
This darn car. Turn off the lights and give me more
Darn
juice. Good idea.
Turn off the lights.
I think it's the fact that they don't make any noise.
Yeah, I can see that.
Not very threatening.
Yeah, that spotlight's gonna scare them off.
Did you hit it with the light? I don't know. I can't see anything.
Certainly sounds like you hit.
They're in the bushes.
Stan, use the spotlight. Turn the spotlight on him.
What?
It was on.
Larry Buchanan editing. Whoa!
Are you off your rocker? Oh, she's right. It burns them up like it did the claw.
Stan, remember the battery. You'd better cut the headlights. They don't do any good.
Why don't the headlights do any good, though?
Not bright enough, I guess.
Now what'll we do? Spotlight's getting dimmer.
Battery's getting dead.
Looks like we're goners. That's it.
The fuck out,
Let's make a
dude.
run for it.
He's not gonna make it. He can't even see, dude. Oh no. Are they getting him? Can't see anything. It's night for night. Can't see anything. Yeah, they're getting him.
Yeah, now it's too dark. Whoa.
Whoa. Ah.
They got me.
These creatures are just so
They're very lumpy.
unimposing.
It's like a lumpy man. Like those big, slow, lumpy man.
Oh, come on. Fire, you son of a bitch.
Let's go. It's now or never.
Oh, okay. They were able to make a run for it.
Oh, Stan, and I can't go another step. We've got to rest.
Okay, honey, all right. We should be safe here for a minute anyway.
Do you think they killed Mike?
I don't know. I saw him pick him up and carry him away.
Oh, we've got to get help. We've got to. We can't leave Mike to those creatures. Oh, what are we gonna do?
I don't know.
What if we turned ourselves into the police?
What good would that do?
Well, don't you see? Once we get the police out here, we'll get them to help Mike some way.
Hey, I got an idea. Come on.
Where are we going?
To use Bailey's phone.
He won't let us. He'll shoot us.
I'll be charming. Come on.
Right. Look, I'm trying to tell you, we want to give ourselves up if you'll just come out here to the Bailey place.
Guess he was charming.
You're not wanted anymore. Go home and sleep it off.
What about Carl?
Well, according to the autopsy we did on him, the cause of death was heart failure due to alcoholism.
Well, how about the fender on my car? Now, you said that proved I hit him.
Oh, you hit him all right, but only after he was dead.
After?
Well, the way we figured, he was drunk, and he must have ran his car off the road down the hill. We found an empty liquor bottle in it. Yeah, that's what gave us the tip-off. He must have managed to get out of the car and climb back up the hill, but the exertion and the liquor were just too much for his ticker, so he conked out. And then you kids must have come along and run over his body.
So it's all cleared up.
Oh, you're cleared.
What about stealing your car? Don't you want us for that?
Well, we will get the car back. Just don't sweat it.
Don't worry about it.
You're all good. You're off the hook.
Don't worry about it. Your father took care of it. Now, please, don't bother me anymore. Just go home and sleep it off.
Her poor, poor father.
Great.
Although they just go back into this house.
He came through again.
Yeah. Hey, how about the gang up at the hill?
Oh, no, not at a time like this.
Oh, don't be silly, honey. I mean, they'll still be there. Maybe they'll help us. At least they'll believe us.
What makes you think so?
Because they're not like our parents, and they won't think that we're drunk or nuts or something just because we're young.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, we're young.
Come on.
Oh, these teens still here.
Hey, Evan, it's the middle of the night.
Oh, of course.
Weird creatures, and they captured him.
And the police wouldn't believe us.
What?
I didn't hear what she said. What are you saying?
And the police wouldn't believe us.
Phil, will you help us?
Come on, I'll show you the way.
What? They're just hijacking a fucking random car? Chaos.
And everybody agreed.
Well,
We're
it is
down.
Stan. Stan is the leader of us kids.
He's the leader of the smoochers.
What is that, 5 cars?
Not a trace. Good night's work. Now we can get some sleep and read about the jet crash in tomorrow morning's paper. Oh, aren't we regular devils?
They were heading for this clearing where there used to be an ice plant, remember?
Yeah,
Okay, turn your lights
yeah,
off.
we do.
Now look, when we get up there, we surround the clearing. Once everybody gets in position, then I'll blow the horn, like this. That'll be a signal for everybody to turn their lights on. You got it?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Everybody heard that horn. They weren't going for the element of surprise, were they?
No, certainly not. I mean,
Did he tell them that they were going to turn on their headlights?
I think so.
The headlights didn't work last time.
No, which did not make sense. Maybe since they have like a few more cars, that's going to be enough. I don't know why the spotlight was enough. And look, you wouldn't think it'd be more than headlights. Uh-oh. What?
Who was that?
No idea. There it is. Turn them on. Yeah, they're not really super bright. They probably didn't have brights back then either. What's the fucking good of those headlights, dude? They barely do anything. Nice. What? Oh, is he? Oh, it's him.
What happened? Where am I? You're all right. They had you.
But we burned them up. I think
We burned him up.
But how did I get here? Where am I?
Don't you remember? Spaceman.
Oh! You better get out.
Bailey, man, when he fires that cannon, he means business. Let's get out of here.
Nice. This car you just hijacked. They're cool. If anything, it gives them a chance to make out more.
Of course not. Why should they? After all, we're just a couple of crazy kids.
But what if they come again? What if there are more of them around right now?
I guess all we can do is hope that the next guy that runs into one is 100% certified adult.
I guess you're right.
You know, being young does have its compensations.
Like what, for instance?
Ralph, how'd you like to be my best man?
And Cheryl can be my maid of honor.
Hey, man, have you slipped?
These characters we haven't really talked to or heard from. Dude, look at that moon. Oh my god, such a beautiful moon.
Poor Daddy. He really will never believe it.
So why tell him?
Okay. Well, that was the exciting conclusion of the Eye Creatures. What did we think, Evan?
Was it exciting?
No. It was
a little anticlimactic.
It was a little anticlimactic. The thing is, it seems now I haven't seen Invasion of the Saucer Men, but literally what I just gleaned from the trailer that we watched in the pre-roll, it seems to follow that pretty closely.
The monsters are weak to light.
Right, which is interesting. I mean, again, think about fucking signs, dude.
Yeah.
It's water, you know,
Right.
water, light, like, sure, I'll buy it. I'll take it.
Although that would just mean just can't come out in the daytime.
Right. Well,
I guess there are monsters that work like that and are still scary.
But and a thing that I didn't really register until we got towards the final minutes was the fact that this all takes place in one night, you know?
Yeah, well, see, I was wondering.
I mean, as far as I can tell, it's supposed to take place in one night.
Yeah.
And
a busy night.
Yeah, oh my god. I mean, again, that moon, dude. Whew.
Full moon tonight.
Full moon. Yeah, well, in Larry Buchanan's movies, it's always a full moon because it's the sun. But yeah, I mean, it really, there were some interesting story elements here. It wasn't bad, and
I went into this primed to hate it, and I'll say I just kind of dislike it.
yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the comedy here, and the
Not
thing is,
really.
like, Invasion of the Saucermen and this movie also by default, they're based on a short story entitled, oh god, it's on my second page, entitled
He's got it.
The Cosmic Frame by a sci-fi pulp author named Paul W. Fairman. So Cosmic, I should have said that earlier. The boom, the connect, there it is, dude. The Cosmic Connection universe. But yeah, so I don't know if the short story is humorous or if it was just Invasion of the Saucermen was humorous, so this movie tried to also do the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think this like kind of humor has it just doesn't really gel with my my modern sensibilities. I just don't think it's very funny.
No, it doesn't land.
It doesn't land.
It doesn't. And I think it's, again, it's a testament to what AIP was churning out at the time. Because that kind of comedy is really not too far off from what you get from the Beach Party movies. It's that, like you said, there's a lot of snarkiness. It's a lot of like mugging to the camera, like, and it's just not really like, if that's like half your movie, it's not really enough to hang your hat on. But AIP did, and they made money off these things. So, it's not, again, more power to you if you don't have to put in as much work with story or production, whatever, and you can make just as much, if not more, than if you poured your heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears. Well, hey.
Why not cut all the corners?
Why not? I mean,
why not just show the zipper on your monster costume?
It feels like that's the lesson that we've been getting this summer.
Why bother trying?
Just cut corners. Your audience doesn't give a
cares.
They don't care at all.
We're not making art. We're just making money.
That is really, it sounds cynical, but there's really a lot of truth in that. And I mean, it's not going to change into next week, because next week we are watching, kind of a later film for the show in terms of the year. And it's from a filmmaker that we haven't seen before, but he has a reputation for being kind of schlocky. And this film is entitled Legacy of Blood from 1978.
Okay.
And it's from a filmmaker named Andy Milligan.
Related to Beast of Blood?
No, totally unrelated from Beast of Blood.
Related to Bride's Blood?
Mad Doctor, Blood Island, no. I could probably name you a few more of the Blood movies, but no. Beast of Blood, no. In this case, yeah. Yeah. Oh, in this case, it's a it's not gothic horror, but it's essentially an old dark house movie as filtered through the mind of Andy Milligan, who was an independent filmmaker who he used gore and sex and a lot of things. Like, he started in the 60s and throughout the 70s made a fair, like, I wouldn't say he was necessarily prolific, but he made a lot of movies, and the quality is not really the number one thing. Again, like tonight's movie, it's obviously more of a money-making exercise, but he would try to do like period pieces on this kind of like zero budget. He would just had like a he lived in a mansion. So they just film like things in the mansion, right? And then he moved to England for a little bit, and so they filmed things in like English locations. They like he moved back to, I think it was Long Island, and I think that's where Legacy of Blood was shot. And so we'll see on next Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern, Legacy of Blood, and it should be. Should be pretty schlocky. Again, continuing the idea of cutting corners and just trying to make a quick buck. I think that's what we're going to continue to get an example of next Friday. So join us for that. And it'll probably still just be on Twitch. We're playing it safe. As we are with our mini-sodes, which are on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. So please join us for all this. Of course, we're on Twitch at Scream Stream Show. We're over on all the socials at Scream Stream Show. If you want to catch up on the past episodes, you can find those over on our YouTube page at Scream Stream Live. And we just posted a new short today. A long time since we did that, and I can't necessarily say that I'll be consistent with it, but I'll try. But it's, it's
we do love them.
We do. They are a lot of fun. Again, it's just synthesizing the little bits of humor that we, every once in a while we provide you with. We try, but hey, we'll be honest. Our hit to miss ratio is, we'll continue to try to improve that and get better. We don't always land them, but we try. I think we have a better ratio than the movie we watched tonight. So, got to count for something, right? Better than Larry Buchanan. But yeah, follow us on over on all the socials. And if you want to follow Evan or myself, you can find me over on Twitter at Spakenstein, and Mr. Evan Sink is on Twitter and Instagram at Caligari Cursed. Anything before we sign off tonight, Evan?
Yeah, you can catch my remake of this movie crossed with my remake of Nietzsche, the movie.
Ooh.
It's called I Creature.
Until next week, sweet screams, everybody.
And to all a good fright.